Okay, ThomasTallis. Let's play knight f3, I think. Sort of stumbles a lot of people when knight f3 is played. There was a few seconds as well he thought about that. So now c4. So if he wasn't comfortable with the English opening, that's great. He might just play d5. Aha. d6. So I've got a slightly inflated rating at the moment. I'm surprised that I wasn't given a super GM or something, just to knock me off, because this is quite close to my high point rating on the auto pairing. I've only been up to about 2340, but we'll see. So there's a kind of King's Indian setup he's got here. I wonder if I can provoke a weakness with h6. Maybe it can go to e3 if h6. If he doesn't play h6, then queen d2. Okay, so for e3 maybe. Knight g4, maybe just bishop back to c1. Okay. So the knight's slightly misplaced on the downside of that. Now if d5 or h3 first, I wonder d5 or h3. Or maybe even e4, given that knight's on g4. Can I play e4 here? I think so. I think that's a logical move. If he takes, yes, he gets some f-file pressure, but on the other hand, I don't think the structure is that brilliant. Okay, so here, d5 and e takes f5. Oh, I wonder. I think that might be an okay idea. Trying to keep this bishop closed in. Actually, ef is actually extending the scope of that bishop later if it takes an e4. So maybe, maybe taking here and then knight b5. c5 I can just take, and then d6 is weak. I think I'll go for that. So knight b5. So c5. No, I can take and knight takes d4. So was that unsound what he did, or was knight e5 to attack c4? Okay, I'll test it. So I'm going to play knight takes d4 next. Aha! So there's knight d6. Maybe there's e takes f5 or c7. There's a lot of alternatives. So I don't want to waste too much time chasing the best idea. Maybe just c takes b to try and just have a clear pawn here to work with. Okay, now e takes f5. I mean, you can take the bishop, but then this knight's slightly loose if he has to play g takes, so I think I'll go for that. Although there's queen c6 and queen c4 coming up. Let's go for exchange that. Queen takes g4, bishop takes f1, queen takes g6. And that's a rook sack as well. I don't think that's sound. Rook f6, for example. So I'll just take here for the moment. So if g takes, then maybe queen f3 to d5. Knight e5, queen d5 check. If queen c6, that's more concerning because c4 is going to drop off. Maybe queen f3 still. Well, there's queen f3 and knight h2. Okay, so king g1, knight queen c4, knight d takes d6. Okay, so king g1. It is. Alright, so that you stopped any queen f3s after g takes. But maybe knight takes d4. Queen c4, maybe knight takes f5, rook f5. Oh, there's no queen g4 because queen's protecting g4. Okay, in that position. Yeah, g takes f5. Knight takes d4, queen takes c4. Is there anything going on there? Well, I do get the centre pawn anyway. If I play something like b3, maybe he even has d3 on this rook b1. Yeah, well, d5 is another problem. b3, d5. So I could just take the opportunity to snatch this pawn. Hopefully not at my peril. Okay. Maybe queen b3 here is a neat way of getting the queens off. So the queen's pinned. So he takes, the knight takes b3. and I'll be a pawn up. Let's go for that. Greedy, but then maybe if bishop f4, I'll be eyeing that d6 again. Okay. Well, here maybe knight e6 to get rid of this useful bishop, or maybe queen c4 first. I don't know. Is the queen going to be deadly in the attack? There's knight takes h2, king takes, queen takes f1 if I'm not careful. So maybe I could consider taking on c4, then taking on g7, then something like bishop c d2, because then rook b2, there's bishop c3. I might go for that. So knight e6, rook b8, knight g7, there's bishop d2 to c3, I hope. So not only getting rid of this powerful bishop, but I'm putting my bishop on c3 instead, supporting the b2 pawn. Okay. Also there's h3 and bishop h6 to consider here. Okay, he hasn't gone in for that. So I can stick the bishop on c3. Should be good. Is it worth trying to stop f4? I wonder. If the bishop's on c3, f4's coming. Well, maybe h3. I don't know. No, I'll encourage f4. Maybe hopefully it's weakening the opponent a bit more. Maybe h3 and g4. I don't know. G takes for g4. Well, f3 here. There's knight e3. h3, and then g takes. Maybe that's worth it. There's no knight e5, so if knight f6, g takes, and then maybe bishop e5. I know it's greedy, but if he doesn't get the pawn back after bishop e5, then king h2 and rook g1 check. So the bishop's useful in this diagonal as well as protecting f4. Oh, he's going to win the pawn back immediately. Ouch. Okay. Let's do this anyway. So king h2 to be able to play rook g1. So I'm hoping this bishop's strong. Maybe bishop d4 first before anything, because rook g1, I don't know, or bishop g3, I don't know actually. Time's running out as well. So f2 is now a bit of a problem. How do I get rid of the counterplay on the f file? Is this check going to be useful enough? Rook g2 maybe, and double up rooks. So I'm protecting f2. Or do I need to place my bishop e3, but then I'll lose b2? So rook d8. Oh god, I'm losing one of these pawns now. Alright, time for the check to see if this changes the picture a bit. Bishop e3, knight b2, rook c1. Maybe. I think I have to do something. I think losing f2 is more dangerous for my king than losing b2. Lesser evil. So knight takes b2, rook c1. What about just, there's a pin here I'll make use of. Surely. Okay. I could just simplify here. How is this rook and pawn ending looking? 2, 3, it's just equal on material. If I move the rook off, there's knight g4. About bishop c5 here. There's still knight g4 check. Winning material. Knight g4 maybe takes. Rook takes f1, bishop takes f8 though. Or takes and takes on c4. So I'll be a pawn up. Okay, but then I'll be winning at a7 after rook f2. Still a pawn up. Pre-move. So can I try and win this position? a4 here. So he's only got about 10 seconds. Although, is h5 dangerous? Hope not. throw in check here. Rook h5, try and win this h4 pawn. Aha, 2 pawns up. Maybe it was tricky for him with so much time, not so much time left. A very tense game. So yes, knight g4. I don't know, it's a bit provocative, this bishop g5 business, to get in e4 as well. But this was controversial, perhaps. But it did give black a lot of counterplay. So even this, I don't really know. This is not convincing. It's just very, very short on time. He could have come in with the king. Oh well, comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.